This is Diptendu here, and I'm here to present the course project on human factors in AI. The problem I'm trying to solve is determining calories for the food that you're eating. So there are lots of people who would have calorie goals for their health concerns, and in order for them to properly gauge how much calories they're eating with each food plate, they have to know how much calories is contained. But most of the restaurants and most of the food that you eat at home do not have a calorie meter associated with it. So I'm developing an app called the SnapCal, which will tell users how many calories they're consuming. They have to take a picture of the food, and then there will be a model that will run on those pictures, and then it will give people an estimate of the calories they're consuming. This is the model. So the user inputs I'm taking is their name, email, password to create an account, a calorie target, which they could potentially set, or they could provide us a vital statistics around gender, height, weight to understand how much calories for us to give them how many calories they should take. And then there'll be a picture of the food that they need to take and upload into the app. It will be running a neural network model using computer vision, object detection technology, which will understand what the image is about. It will detect the objects, the meat, the particular dishes within the food plate, and it will give you the estimated calorie. The tasks associated here are create an account on the app, set some health goals or calories that you would like to consume, then take a picture of the food that you're eating, clarify some output from the model around what kind of dishes it has. The clarification is needed for better confidence on the calorie estimate, and then eventually the model or the app will give you an estimated calories on the plate. So the task analysis, after that, doing the task analysis, and obviously the primary goal is for users to understand that they are consuming the right amount of calories. So um, the user input that are critical here is first of all is the picture. So we have to make sure that the picture that the app is taking is in the right angle and is taken with the right quality. And then when I evaluate the tasks here, I think there are a few non-value added tasks which could be removed, like creating the account if we give users a guest user experience. The setting the health goals can be simplified. We don't have to ask users to give us their calorie needs, but we could actually take their gender, height, weight to recommend the ideal calorie intake that they should take. And about the picture, I already mentioned that we must make sure that it is of the right quality, taken from the correct distance, and make sure there's enough lighting for the picture. User interaction design, I have 5 screens that I will have on the app, so all the way starting from creating an account on the first screen, second screen about how many, setting their calorie goals, third screen about taking the picture, fourth screen is about validating the dishes that are contained on the food plate, and the fifth screen is about giving them a calorie count on their food plate. From an AI user experience design perspective, the user inputs, I'll have to explain to the users why we are asking them for account creation. It's about saving the information for future use. I'll also have to ask them for calorie goals. So I'll have to ask them how that calorie goals input is being used, and how and why we are asking them for vital statistics. I'll have to explain them that these are used for understanding how many calories they need, so that we could compare it with the calories on their food, and we could give them an estimate of whether they're on track or not. There will be a feedback loop as well, as on screen 4. I mentioned that it will ask the user to verify the dishes that they're eating, and it will make sure that the model is able to predict the dishes correctly. From a transparency perspective, I'll have to explain how the model works and what the limitations of the model are. I think the limitations would be around it cannot distinguish layered food. It cannot distinguish certain particular dishes, certain particular content on the food plate that it has never encountered. So if there's a fusion food that we have never encountered, then we'll have to kind of disclose it to them. And then I'll have to also disclose that I have used data sources like Instagram public photos and manually taken snaps to label different food plates for calories, and that labeling and that data is being used to predict the calories on their food plate. And then this uncertainty. I mean, obviously, the model will not be accurate most of the time. So, in order for me to give them communicate the uncertainty with the model, I can either give them a range of the calories that this food plate could potentially have, or I could say the confidence percentage of the value provided by the model. Then two considerations: the privacy consideration. There will be vital statistics and user information taken from the user. So those could be identified as directly identifiable PII information. So I have to make sure that those are saved correctly into the system, and that doesn't break any laws around storing information, and they have the right encryption in place. I will be following Fair Information Act, meaning that I will have to give users the uh, feature to delete or access their data at any point in time. They can download the data, or they can decide to delete it at any point in time. I don't have to follow HIPAA because I'm not collecting any health data, and I think I'm going to be running this app within North America only, so GDPR would not apply to me. On an ethical consideration, there will definitely be sources of bias. The people who are taking Instagram pictures, uploading into the internet, they're mostly taking pictures of food that look good. But this model should be able to predict calories for any type of food. So there could be potentially a bias there. And at the same time, sometimes the preparation of the food itself could add some certain calories. So that's something that I have to call out to the users as well, that this would potentially lead to some biases into the system. With respect to the ethical goals, I think I'll have to be fair to the restaurants and the different cuisines. Some cuisines might have more calories than others. So, in order for me to be fair, I have to give some kind of a range, some standard average ranges that I could share by cuisine, so that for certain cuisines, customers do not have any concerns. There will be high level of accountability on my part to make sure that people can use this data reliably for their health needs. And with respect to transparency, I'll have to share details about the type of pictures collected, apparent bias from the sources, and then I'll also have to tell them how the data is being used, how they should expect to see the calories, and how the data is being used to improve the model over time. So that was all. Thank you so much for listening to me.